Welcome back to another featured garage vlog. Today we're going to work on a motorcycle. A little bit of a backstory on this. A couple months ago I picked up a 1976 Honda XL175 for $100. When I got it, it was pretty much worth $100. I mean, it was completely disassembled, parts were in boxes, and it had obviously just been sitting for a very long time, kind of being weathered away. So I've got the bike now. I've got everything stripped off the frame. I've already painted it. I've got the triple tree painted as well. And I've got the engine assembled. When I put the engine together, the intent was to just put it together and then I'll pressure wash it and get it cleaned up. The inside of the engine is in great shape and it's actually very clean, as it should be. I mean, the bike only has about 2,400 miles on it. So, you know, very little use, but again, it's just been sitting and kind of rotting. Now, one thing I don't like about the engine the way it sits is I had to use RTV on the crankcase covers and the valve cover because I just couldn't find the gaskets for those. I've since found gaskets. There's a company, I think they're based out of Texas, called Gasket King, and they make gaskets for vintage motorcycles. So I've got gaskets on the way from them, so I can get rid of that, you know, hideous looking RTV and get the correct gaskets in there. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and take apart the wheels and get those painted. So what I want to do is I'm kind of following this theme I have in my head of black and gold. The hubs, I'm going to paint those flat black. The spokes, I'm going to do gold, and then I will clean up and shine the rims so they're shiny and chrome.
You will ride eternal, shiny and chrome.
This tire's nasty. I'm sure this is the original tire too. Alright, I've run into my first problem, and it might be an expensive problem because rims are not that cheap. By rim I mean the actual rim, the outer portion of this wheel. Real quick, the whole unit is a wheel, the centerpiece is a hub, these are your spokes, this is the rim, all together it's a wheel. So the rim has a flat spot. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but once I spin the wheel, it becomes pretty evident that it is flat in one spot, and it's a pretty wide flat spot. I don't know that I'll be able to straighten it out, so I'm going to start doing some research to see if I can find a reasonably priced replacement rim for this. But I'm going to go ahead and continue to take it apart because either way this has to come off. This all has to get painted, but this has to come off and or get replaced. Alright, so good news. The rear rim is straight. So that's good. That means all I have to do is get it cleaned up, get it shiny and chrome. And that's less money I have to spend now. Okay, front and rear wheels are now disassembled. Got all the spokes laid out so they can be sanded and prepped for paint. And that's something I'm going to do when you know, it's the end of the day, I got nothing else to do, I got some beer, and I can just hang out and take care of that, because that's going to be a long, tedious task. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take apart the rear shocks so I can do the same thing with those, get them painted. I'm thinking a gloss black where everything is chrome and gold springs. That should be okay. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, come on. Hey. Alright, with the rear shocks disassembled, it's just a lot easier to clean and paint everything. So, let's get started. Okay, change of plans. I went ahead and started painting the springs black, and I think I'm going to leave the shocks chrome, because if I paint them, and the moment I adjust the preload, I'm just going to break away all the paint down there, and it's just going to look like crap. So I'm going to leave these chrome, paint the springs black, see how it looks, and if this chrome clashes too much with everything else, then I'll go ahead and find the preload that I want on the bike, and then take these off and paint them the original color scheme I wanted, black shocks and gold springs. So yeah. Alright, I'm also working on the front suspension and getting that cleaned up. I also need to get all the gunk off the bottom half of them so I can paint them, so it's not a raw aluminum color. Now this is what the forks look like as they came off the bike. You know, a little bit of dirt and rust on that, and with a little bit of aluminum foil and water, it comes out looking really, really nice. You can do this on chrome just because the foil is, of course, softer than the chrome, so it's really going to aggressively attack the rust without damaging or scratching the chrome. Of course, you don't want to use foil and water on aluminum because it's just going to destroy the aluminum. So with that, I'm just going to get a sponge, some degreaser, and scrub off the dirt and get the surface prepped for paint.
I feel like I'm letting my freak flag fly. I feel like I owe it to someone.
This is nice, having this disassembled, because you can really get all these cracks and crevices that you wouldn't be able to otherwise. Now, it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than what I started with. I've got spots like this that just won't come off, but hey, we'll turn those on the inside so you know, they're not as visible. But this is what I started with, and this is what I'm up to right now. It's gonna look a lot better, especially with the freshly painted springs. Something else worth mentioning is now that this shock is cleanish, the preload adjuster actually spins freely, so that's nice. That'll be a lot easier to set preload now. Before it was almost seized, but it's good now, so cool. Okay, I think I'm done cleaning and painting for tonight. I'm kind of just tired of it all. The shocks, they're looking pretty okay. You know, especially considering the original shocks that have just been sitting on the bike, you know, festering, rotting away. I think this is about as good as they're going to get. And the springs are currently hanging up to dry. They're dry now, I just need to let the paint kind of set up. Now, sure, I guess you can make the argument that, you know, a proper frame-up restoration for this bike would mean, you know, buying new parts that are old and corroded or rusted beyond repair. But that's just not what I'm interested in doing with this bike in particular. Plus, what would be more interesting? Watching a guy buy a bunch of parts and bolting them on, or seeing somebody, you know, use a limited resources environment and build something really cool for not a whole lot of money. You know, while I'm talking about that, I recently saw a picture floating around the internet, and it had a picture of a Mark IV Toyota Supra. Under it, it had the caption something like, what was it? Build race cars, because you can always make more money, but you can't make more memories. I was like, what does that mean? So if you think about it, it's implying that you're not going to make quality memories unless you spend money. That's not true at all. In fact, the motorcycle I ride every day was built on the principle of not spending a whole lot of money. It was built on, using your resources to make something come together. And I have fantastic memories on that motorcycle. I love that motorcycle. It makes the right sounds. It rides just a certain way. It feels, like a different era of motorcycle because it is. It's very unique, and with that comes memories that money can't buy. So you shouldn't. I think you shouldn't be caught up in the game where you have to buy that next mod to put on your car, or you have to pay for something to make it better. There are ways that you can go about creating memories that don't involve spending money. So that's also kind of why I'm building the bike the way I am, because I'm gonna have a lot more fun on it when I sit back and I think, wow, I've spent $400 total to build this amazing motorcycle that not only other people can enjoy while they're looking at it, but myself as a rider can have fantastic experiences on it and develop great memories with great friends, and other riders. So dude, no, you don't need to spend money to have memories. But look, the point is, spending money and money itself is not the key to happiness. Yeah, I know it certainly helps you get there, but it's not the key. Life experience, that's kind of the key to happiness. All right, well, cool, that's it for this vlog. Hopefully next time we'll go ahead and start lacing up the wheels. I may or may not have everything painted by then. If not, then we'll be painting in the next video. So we're either painting or lacing the wheels, and hopefully I'll have a solution for the front rim, so we can go and get those tires mounted, because I'm really excited to see, the black, the gold, the chrome, and those, chunky knobby tires all together in one package. I think it's gonna be really cool. So cool, yeah. Until next time.